Hey everyone, Token Dave over here, rookie token black guy who's just trying to get by. And welcome back to the Token 5, my top 5 list of a particular subject matter. God damn, do I need to get a PS4? I mean, it's been over 10 years since I've done any type of gaming, and I'm seeing all these people on YouTube with their gaming streams, and I'm like, I'm just like, it's like, it's like I'm dying for a hit. Like I'm trying to get off because, geez, I have not played a game I have not owned a game system since PS2, and all these awesome games are being streamed are just, particularly Pop Culture Cast. He's been doing these live streams of the Friday the 13th games, and it looks amazeballs, And to top it off, the Friday the 13th series is my favorite slasher series, So I'm just dying to play it. Speaking of which, you've heard me talk about Pop Culture Cast and their Godzilla polls. Well, he's branched out, and he's actually doing a poll of the best Friday the 13th movie in the whole franchise. I'll put the link down below so you guys could participate in that vote and that poll. But it got me thinking, I don't have to wait till I do a franchise review to give any additional thoughts on, the Friday the 13th lore or mythology. Why don't I do something on my own? That's not, so here are my 5 favorite actors that have portrayed Jason Voorhees in the Friday the 13th franchise. Before I go there, I have to give one honorable mention to Dan Bradley. Now, Dan Bradley briefly played Jason in Part 6, but he got fired and everything because, the directors wanted to use someone else. But we still see his work in the paintball scene, which is actually one of the best scenes in the movie. So I really wish I could have seen what he pulled off, but meh and everything. We do get an awesome scene from him, which goes into number 5, CJ Graham, Friday the 13th Part 6. This is the first movie where we saw the zombified Jason, alright? This is the time where Jason became the superhuman, basically, or supernatural, slasher killer. And you know what? They eased us in with some of the kills in the beginning, but also you saw a rise in the brutality of the killings. The first death, being where he rips someone else's heart out, and actually at the start of the paintball scene, his kills got more brutal throughout the movies, and this is actually the start of the brutalized Jason killings, because the killings themselves were horrific, but they were more brutal and more physically imposing and more, that really hurt and everything, and CJ Graham's portrayal of this is actually very enduring, and basically it's like Jason Voorhees Terminator style. Damn, So great entry into my Token 5 Jason Voorhees portrayals. Number 4, Richard Brooker, Friday the 13th Part 3. Now, at this time, they were still trying to get a grasp of Jason's personality a little bit more. I mean, we did get that, despite being a maniacal killer, he still has the mentality of a young boy and everything. But, Richard Brooker actually gave us more of a charm to the character, because as opposed to Part 2, Part 2, Jason came off as your generic silent slasher hero, slasher villain. Here, Richard Brooker brought more character to Jason. The hockey mask helped, but it was also the fact that his mannerisms, you actually got to see that basically he was still going around killing people, but he actually did so with a bit of personality. Yeah, I know it sounds demented and everything, but you still got the basically a more humane Jason, you also got more of his childlike personality, but he's also the most controversial Jason, because basically people are questioning whether or not, he raped Christy and all in this, to which I probably have to say yes, given the fact that she blacked out and she doesn't remember anything else. So, yeah, but despite all of that, basically, Richard Brooker gave Jason more of a personality in this, and that's why he is my number 4. All right, my number 2 and number 3 are always interchangeable, but, I'm going to have to give number 3 at this point to Derek Mears, the Friday the 13th reboot from 2010. People shit on this movie a lot, and it's really not that bad, it's really not. I mean, what else could you expect from this franchise with this movie? But particularly, everyone gives props to Derek Mears, and he definitely deserves the props, because holy crap, when he's on scene, he has that brutality. Like, when you see him chasing someone, your heart does race. Like, especially at the beginning, when you see him running, you're like, holy shit, what the fuck? And to top it off, his kills are really brutal, especially since this is not a supernatural zombified Jason, but goddamn, did he give that brutality, survivalist in him. And that's one thing that I also liked. We saw Jason more as a backwards survivalist, laying traps for people and all. And he's still very, very brutal in his killings, and goddamn, So definitely my number 3 of all the actors that play Jason up until this point, So yeah, Derek Mears definitely deserves the props. Number 2, Kane Hodder, Friday the 13th, Part 7, all the way up until Jason X. Okay, guys, relax. I know Kane Hodder is a favorite, all right? I completely understand why he's a favorite, and I know you guys are pissed off that he's only number 2. Hear me out. Part 6 introduced us to the zombified Jason, the brutal Jason, right? And Kane Hodder exemplified this. He took that and ran with it. His brutality, his anger. Every time you saw him breathing heavy, really ready to pounce and dispatch of anyone in the most vicious sort of way. And he did that to the nth degree. This is why so many people love Kane Hodder as Jason, because he was hulking, strong, intimidating, and brutal as fuck and everything. So if I say all these great things about Kane Hodder's portrayal, why is he only number 2? Primarily because he took the franchise, he took Jason the way he was and everything after Friday the 13th Part 6 and ran with it. People still think of Jason as the zombified killer, but he has not always been that. But ever since Part 6, he's done a great job displaying the brutality of Jason, right? So, who is number 1? Number 1 is Ted White, who portrayed Jason in Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. So why Ted White? If I give all this praise to Kane Hodder, why him? Well, quite simply, Jason is still that innocent boy that is kind of slow. Yes, I know. Innocent, then why is he killing people? Look back to his background. He was a bullied kid that drowned, and he's looking for his mother to come back. And, he is still somewhat childlike in his slow wit. So, Tim White displayed the vulnerability and the vulnerability of Jason, something that, we don't really pay much attention to. However, with also that, Ted White also was brutal as hell, as brutal as a human character could be. And this is why he's my number 1. He found that perfect balance of being the brutal killing Jason, yet displaying the victimized, slow-witted person that feels like he's doing all these killings to appease his mother for his mom to come back and get his mother's approval, whom his mother was the only person that really cared and loved him. So Ted White did this, and his portrayal of Jason as both the brutal killer and the the victimized boy in an adult's body trying to appease his mother, he brought all of those in a great balance that I have not seen an actor do in the role of Jason as of yet. So those are my 5 favorite actors who has portrayed Jason Voorhees. Agree? Disagree? Drop me a comment below. Give me a like. Follow me on Facebook at Token Dave or on Twitter at TokenDave80. Subscribe and ring that bell so you know when a new video loads. And don't forget to spread this video out, everyone. But until then, this has been Token Dave, the dorky token black guy who's just trying to get by. I'll catch all of you later.